on it. We just talked today. I got the dreaded Melissa phone call, which is Ted, I have another idea. So, I won't even talk to you about that because we're supposed to talk about the current idea.
Exactly, which is what we'll get into now. So it's good to reconvene. I'm looking forward to getting into the album. So thank you so much for taking a minute out today.
Yeah. We're going to talk for how long?
Oh, probably
Half
15
an hour.
minutes tops.
Oh, okay.
Is that cool?
You got me. Whatever, Joe. I'm here to blow your brain.
I'm
So,
ready. You already did it, so I have no doubt you'll do it again.
all right,
So,
hold on. Before you start, I
yeah,
just finished a singing lesson and it just popped up on my screen.
no worries.
So I need to make that go away. What happens is it pops up on my screen when it converts to like an MP4 file, and then
Uh,
my singing lessons can be stored. This is a high-tech operation being Melissa chanteuse. It's a really, I thought this was more of the artisanal direction. Okay, now I've lost the Zoom.
uh-oh.
Okay, I'm getting eccentric in my old age. Okay, here we
It's
go.
okay.
I'm back. Okay,
Humans mimicking AI. I love it.
okay, so you can roll, and then anything quirky that gets said from here forward is my fault.
It's fine. No, we're good. And I thrive on the quirky, so we're good. So let's get into the album, and it's such an appropriate name. I Can Dream, Can I, for what we're living through in this world right now, which is, I don't even know where to begin. But what I want to know is this: as an entertainer, as a singer, as somebody putting out art into the world, how much do you think about taking people away from what we're living through right now, giving them a level of oasis?
I feel like in this way, I like read the universe's mind because I recorded these songs before it was late summer 24 when Ted and I went into the studio to do these recordings, and just as the record was coming out, and I realized how gentle it was and how we were swimming through the idea of illusions and conversations from the American Songbook. That's the subtitle. I Can Dream, Can't I? Illusions and Conversations from the American Songbook. One of the things that the songs were telling me was, what are our dreams, our illusions, our ideals? How many of them, like Joni Mitchell says late in my album, that a lot of these things don't work out. A lot of these things are lost and dissolved before your very eyes. But I don't want the album to tumble into despair. I want people to think of what those dreams were, what those ideals were. And that points the way to who you are. It's also your kind of salvation. Even if your dreams don't come true,
Yeah.
they're important, they matter. I'm just really pleased that the though I did it in 2024, it was prescient, or it was a good choice of investigation in music for the sort of collective psyche right now. So very, very happy with that. But to answer your question more directly, I did not set out to make the record that we needed this at this moment. I'm blessed that it sort of turned out to be not the wrong thing at the wrong time, because that happens with Broadway shows where suddenly it's like, ugh, this is the wrong era for that. Just
Uh-huh.
ugh. And people take 10 years to make the show and they just landed at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Same thing happens in all art. You're making it for a long time and you don't really, artists or singers, and so we don't like think what's going to be needed or what's the
Sure.
total collective consciousness. You pay attention to yourself and the environment you're in, and then you put it forward, and hopefully it makes connection. But don't you love interviewing me where I just keep
I
talking?
love it. It's good because you're going to knock down all these
Like,
dominoes that are like three moves
yeah.
ahead.
I work with Mark Shaman, and when he's preparing to release his book, and he says interviewing me is easy, just like you won't get a word in edgewise.
It's great. I love it.
That's when I'm in your shoes. So with two years ago, or not 2 years ago, but in well, maybe that is 2 years ago. Anyhow, in the deep summer, really hot, beautiful days in 2024, Tedd Firth, who's a jazz pianist, he said to me, he always wanted to go into the studio. He always wanted to go in the studio. He said, Melissa, someday let's just go in the studio, just the two of us, no parents, as it were, no producer, no plan. And he just had this kind of hippie idea. And I was like, that doesn't sound like a good idea, but okay. And so someday we'll do that. So the summer came and he says, I have these days in August. And I said, okay, I'm free those days. Maybe we'll just do the thing we said. We'll just go into the studio. And he got excited. We put the time aside. I got the best piano in America that he says at this place called Octaven Studios. It's beautiful. It's the piano on the cover. So I booked it. And as the weeks were approaching, we're through the summer, Ted sent me a Dropbox of 54 songs that he felt were from the Great American Songbook, but hadn't been definitively done by anyone. Songs that were still open road in his mind, songs that were intriguing, songs I'd love to hear you sing. You know how he's like a guy, it's not like that deep, but his intuition was to give me those 54 songs. So I respected his intuition. I knew some of the songs. A lot of them are unknown songs by Jerome Kern, Irving Berlin, Frank Lesser, Rodgers and Hart, Oscar Hammerstein, or I said Irving Berlin, and then some one song by Joni Mitchell, but Jimmy Van Heusen, just the masters of the American Songbook. But as Ted says, kind of the corners and some weird, but everything had something beautiful in it.
Yeah.
So that's how the record came about. It came about from this Dropbox. We got together for a few days. He played the songs. And this is where 15 years of, playing the idea that Malcolm Gladwell has of, 10,000 hours, we were well into way past 10,000 hours together. But the relationship is so well oiled and so beautiful. He is like a husband. In some ways, aggravating as well as completely enmeshed in my psyche, and I love him so much. So I listened to him play, and I listened to the words. He had no opinion about which song. You kind of like them all, kind of thing. I was like, no, 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 no. Things were cheesy. I hated that. Don't like the title. I get it, but I'm not sure I get it. Oh God, Barbara sang that, but she was so good at that, etc. And 18 songs emerged on the piano in a pile that seemed like a movie to me.
Yeah.
I saw a movie it felt like an old movie of two people who are fantasy obsessed and have an interior relationship. Something about the songs really felt of a kind, as it were. And at 18 songs we recorded, I got rid of 4 that actually were ruining the vibe. And there we have our 14. It was really 13. And then I threw Lost in His Arms back in because Sondheim wrote that he wished he'd written that song.
Yeah.
And I felt like because a lot of the songs are from the 30s and 40s and 50s, they're the field of influence that Sondheim would have heard all these things.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, I can't not sing a song that he thinks that he wished he'd written. So anyhow, the long story is that this was not selected for our current vulnerable psyche. It was selected because of the beautiful connection with Ted, 3 free days in the summer, a fantasy my pianist had, a relationship that he wants to have just with me with no producer. So I gave into that. I listened to his choices and I let them wash over me. And then all these wonderful things start to percolate, which is, oh, this is like a man and a woman who get lost in, they have no certainty about the relationship, but they're having this rich, sexy, fantasistic life. They're meeting in some quantum entanglement type of thing.
Yeah.
And then as I did like Dave Frishberg's song, Listen Here, and I did like the Joni Mitchell song and the Dori Caymmi song. I'm like, okay, these are a little more modern. They go into the 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I thought, well, that's great. We'll move through the decades. It'll be like a tour of New York City from Tin Pan Alley all the way to the Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
Just take a walk.
Yeah.
So geographically, it could actually be all the geography of the core creative places in New York City. I realized that Listen Here is a song that's about learning to listen to yourself. And I thought, well, how could that be a relationship song? And it can be that a relationship that's doomed or ill-fated to be real
Yeah.
can leave you smarter, fuller, more in touch with yourself. Um, I remember learning a romantic term called return to self.
Yeah.
If you love someone so much, they help return you to yourself.
Uh-huh.
And then Joni Mitchell's Wise, Wise song about both sides now is the end of the record. So illusions, dreams, and schemes, and Ferris wheels, or and ice cream castles in the air, all the things. So, and feather canyons everywhere. That could easily be Moon River that she's
Uh-huh.
talking about. Everything, moons and Junes. And anyhow, very long answer. It was not meant to be what it turned out to be, and I'm really proud of it. And I hope people enjoy it. It was never meant to be heard, as one long listen.
Yeah.
That's why I released it every other Friday
Yeah.
because Ted plays 50% of the song.
Right.
And so if everybody doesn't want to hear a piano, they should just listen to one track and then go back and listen to another track because
Yeah.
it's a piano experience too. It's him talking to me and me talking to Ted and us thinking about these sexy things, these beautiful words. But then he takes that words and he makes them wordless.
Yeah.
He listens to what we talk about, what the songs are about. So when he's playing, he's not just being like Bill, no offense, but Bill Evans, like just cool, cool, cool. Love how these chords go to these chords. And oh my God, I love that. I gave Ted a psychological point of view, and he played the psychological point of view in jazz.
I was going to ask you what it's like to have him as a collaborator, and you've answered it perfectly. Between that and being like an old married couple, you absolutely completely epitomized.
Yeah, it's like he reads my mind. It's like
Right.
psychological jazz or emotional jazz,
Yeah.
because he feels I'm going to cry or I'm going to something or I'm feeling super sexy about something and he just starts to like do it.
Yeah.
And I get all like crazy and he plays right into it. Like we read each other. He likes having an emotional direction. I think he's a poet, so I think he likes to be given something to work with.
Yeah.
And he runs with it. But if you if you're just kind of doing a generic song, not that he would be generic, but I think he wouldn't be as interested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's super interested. He can feel me.
Uh-huh.
When I say, wow, this is really intimate, or this is really from the bottom of oneself, he'll be like, he's like, like he'll start to really play deep, almost like the dark water of an ocean.
Yeah.
Like he'll create sounds that are like exactly what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his hands are liquid. It's amazing. So we're really well suited to each other. So that movie Home Alone where the kids are left home without parents?
Yeah.
This is like Home Alone.
That's it. I love it. That was perfect. So I
This is
gotta
a
know.
very sophisticated Home
I,
Alone.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
the album comes out in 2 days. Do you do anything special on release day? Do you have traditions? Do you have confetti, champagne? I mean, what happens on release
Well,
day?
here's the thing. I threw a party for the first Friday when the first single came out because for me that was like I made a commitment to the public.
Huh?
Not that there's like huge public for what I do, but there are. I mean, there's a couple hundred people every day, who are listening, and that's nice. Um, so the first Friday, I threw a really expensive party, and I invited all my friends and my voice doctor and my voice coach and my husband, of course, my children, and um, there was a glitch and it all day we couldn't get it to work. So we had this super expensive party. So I think I learned don't celebrate in the arts. Just keep your chin down and
Uh-huh.
do your work and you don't need a party, you
Yeah.
know. I think that was God saying stop.
Yeah.
Don't be so stuck on yourself. Like, don't get so excited.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just very grateful. And I guess I do feel uh like not relief, but I've really taken care because I did this crazy thing called a waterfall release.
Yeah.
What the young people are saying it's we don't release music like we used to. You and I remember vinyls and things where you like, oh wow, side A, side B has a vibe.
Mhm.
We did a waterfall release every other Friday. So um every other Friday, I released a video and a social media graphic and a kind of a newsletter and an opinion about it, a little essay that I wrote. So it was kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And to make uh, my point about illusions and dreams, all of them applied.
Yeah.
Um, Intimacy and conversation as well. This back and forth with Ted. I really feel like if anyone's interested, you can look at the history of the social media. It's quite beautiful, and maybe it makes you realize the journey American music made from the 30s, where it was just stopping to be Tin Pan Alley and manufacturing almost. It's like songs were manufactured for the wars and for propaganda. And it's the beginning of Tin Pan Alley and industry. And then it became more elegant and intimate. You have Cole Porter at the Waldorf in his apartment, and craftsmanship and sophistication and collaboration and the birth of beautiful Broadway musicals, um, sophisticated Broadway musicals with these huge collaborations, Rodgers and Hart, etc., as the early, and then into the others. And then it passes into the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, where American music is more about the singer.
Yeah.
It's like Peggy Lee and Joni Mitchell and the individual. You start to hear that emerging with Dorothy Fields, women having an opinion, and emerging as writers, Carolyn Lee. Peggy Lee, I put one of her songs on. So you can kind of feel uh, American music change as well,
Yeah.
through the album. So it was a long process. So now that we're coming to the final Friday, I get to meet you, and that's it. You're my party.
There you go. No, and that's the beauty of this process. I guess it's kind of ironic. You did this waterfall thing. You like chunked it out and released it, but
Mhm.
the whole thing is a story, just like you said. You're going from Tin Pan Alley to the singer-songwriter. You're kind of going through it, which is the way that you listen to music, especially vinyl. It's a story.
Well, there's that story, by the way. For me, I learned the word palimpsest based on my last album. Somebody taught me the word. A palimpsest is like ancient manuscript. When you see it, you feel that there's writing underneath it,
Uh-huh.
and you see through and that's called a palimpsest. It's when you can see writing under writing. So the
Yeah.
idea that there's layers to read, and that they all coexist on this one. So the Sondheim in the City record was about Sondheim's New York City shows, and you could
Yeah.
learn a lot, but also it was about my life arriving in New
Uh-huh.
York, Broadway baby, my Ziegfeld ancestors, who were actually the women of the Follies that Sondheim was writing about. I actually had them in my house.
Yeah.
My Aunt Rose, my grandmother, the feather boas and the velvet capes and the crazy jewelry and the whole Ziegfeld history was in my house.
Yeah.
So, and people arriving in New York, wanting to be Broadway babies, uh, that feeling of another 100 people just got off the train, this urgency to get to Manhattan from Italy in our case. But then I'm married, I grew up in New York, I had children in New York, sorry, grateful, the idea of like a complex marriage. And, so all the Manhattan songs could be ruminations on my life.
Yeah.
Anyone can whistle. We all know a lot of insecure people in New York who um, are so smart and talented, in New York, but so profoundly inept and insecure in in so many other ways. So it's more personal than just, Sondheim's Manhattan songs.
Yeah.
It's not like that neat. It's like there's all these layers.
Uh-huh.
And Take Me to the World for me is about my children. It's about everything I want them to feel. Take me to the world. Do you want the world? Why then you shall have the world.
Yeah.
Ask me for the world. Why then you shall have the world. I want to give my kids all the beautiful things, not all the horror we're giving them. But so, in other words, it's totally personal.
Yeah.
I can dream, can't I? While it also has all this interest for people who are song um, experts and nerds and
Sure.
interested in books and thinking about writing and this wonderful, things like this, people who like the books like that,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
like great. This is like for portraits of the great, great singers of Billie Holiday, obviously, people like that, Tony Bennett, Mabel Mercer, you know, all of that history interests me. But I'm also an escapist, a fantasist, an Italian girl, an art history major. I love the uh, I love the world of the songs. I love the idea of a song like All in Fun or Remind Me Not to Find You So Attractive. Remind me. I think it's so funny. Remind me not to find you so
Yeah.
attractive. It's Dorothy Fields at her very funniest.
Uh-huh.
I believe that there's two characters in the I could write a Woody Allen movie in 5 minutes
Yes.
based on this. I've created this whole world in my head. So you'll see that especially in the videos if you
Yeah.
want to check out the videos. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I will put those links in the. So when do you play? Do you and Ted, are you guys going to present this
Well,
live?
I have Valentine's concerts coming up. It's not with Ted actually.
Okay.
I'm playing with another jazz master. Ted wasn't available for Valentine's this year, but I'm doing the album at Valentine's for 6 performances. Starts on February 13th to 15th.
Okay.
And then Ted and I are doing all kinds of concerts as well. Sondheim's birthday. And I have a sort of a usual bunch of dates, a tour schedule type thing. I'm going to Vegas to continue my Sondheim slash Michel Legrand, everything else. I've put all those influences into a homage to Barbara Streisand.
Okay.
And I have a show I'm going to do in Vegas again. I just did it in New York. I'm going to do it again in Provincetown and in Manhattan. And I called Ted today about a new project.
Okay.
But I do have Birdland coming up soon. So, and that will be where I sell the album for the first time.
Okay, excellent. I will put all of this in the show notes. It's always so great to catch up with you, Melissa. Thank you so much. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck. Have a wonderful new year. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for your support. It's so good to see you. I hope I blew your brain just a little.
You did. You totally did. I remember that before. It was just like quote after quote. It's wondrous. I love it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
well, thank you. Yeah. So it is. It's personal as well as I hope, kind of a good document of wonderful songs from the American Songbook that are less standards that are not standard.
There you go. I love it. And I can't wait to read the Maryland piece. It's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah, Marilyn May. I wrote a piece about her in the New York Times called, I think they called it The Unsinkable Marilyn May. You don't do your own titles.
Right.
Also, today, I have a piece, an essay that published about Sondheim finishing the hat.
Okay. Excellent.
So I like to write about music.
I love it.
Yeah, I think you're going to like that. I think that
Yeah.
might blow your brain a little bit.
And I'm ready for it. Yeah, I always love it.
Yeah.
So
It's all
this has been
about
wonderful.
the commitment of artists,
Yeah, for sure.
That
Yeah, for sure.
was the name of his book. Finishing
Yes.
the Hat.
And I was looking at that back there. Yeah. So, well,
Yeah, that was my set for you today.
I absolutely love it. I noticed that. That's wonderful. Melissa, always a pleasure. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Take care. Cheers.
Neon Jazz.